What about the border adjustment tax? You have a lot of companies that make widgets, whether it is a Pampered Chef or anything else, that probably import at least some parts from elsewhere.
It won't be the companies in the end that get hurt. It'll the consumer. It's a sales tax. It's a selective sales tax on imported products, basically. And then they say, well, if the dollar appreciates enough, that'll take care of it. But if the dollar appreciates enough, that hurts exports dramatically. So I doubt very much that it passes.
We're back now with Warren Buffett, Chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. After that meeting, he's still got lots of energy to be speaking to our viewers right now. Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, wants this border adjustment tax. He says other countries tax our exports. Why shouldn't we tax theirs? But this weekend, a conservative senator, GOP Senator Perdue from Georgia, said it's DOA, dead on arrival in the Senate. What do you think happens?
Well, I don't know I don't know the politics at all, but it is a tax. And, the other guys tax our stuff, and then you get trade wars going and retaliatory actions. In the end, the world will do better, including the United States, by free trade. Now, the truth is it hurts specific individuals, and we ought to take care of those people in some way, because there is a greater good done by free trade. If you start taxing certain imports, you're just raising the price. I mean, it's like a special sales tax on it in the United States or something like that.
The supply chain has changed in America, has it not? I mean, for example, Marmon Holdings, that you have, I'm sure many things that they make have parts from elsewhere.
Yeah, and we sell things over there, too. I mean, our exports were 5% of GDP in 1970, and I think they're about 12% now. So we've found many, many things that the world likes that the United States makes. And we ought to encourage the flow of trade, but we ought to take good care of the people who become the roadkill of it.
Speaking of taxes and tax reform, I know you know Gary Cohn, the president's top economic advisor. 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, he rolled out a tax reform plan. It streamlines the tax brackets. It lowers taxes. It would eliminate the estate tax. From what you saw of that plan, is there anything you would embrace within it?
Well, I'm sure there would be, but you have to look at any plan in its entirety, because, for one thing, if you want it to be revenue neutral, you're going to have to see, anytime they talk about cuts here, you're going to have to talk about increases someplace else. And even dynamic scoring can only go so far. They'll always try to make that close the gap.
Well, speaking of which, Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin said that it'll pay for itself because of the growth it will spur. That is logical to some people. If you give them more of their own money back in their pockets, they'll spend it. Didn't quite work with the George Bush taxes, which sunsetted, but could this be, I guess, so transformational that it does pay for itself?
Well, that would depend on the plan, and I haven't seen anything yet. Well, the one that's actually been passed was passed only in the House. In terms of a new health care plan, and that reduced my taxes for last year, if it had been in effect, 670 or 680,000 from a level of about 4 million. So that would have been a 17% tax reduction with me. Now, in my case, I'm not going to spend it. I mean, but that depends on who you're talking about. But that only goes to people with married couple with an income of $250,000 or higher. So you're not putting money in the pockets with that particular tax cut of the pockets of people who really have a whole bunch of needs to fill.
But the 15% corporate tax rate, you see that as a good thing, right? Or not?
Not necessarily.
No, why not?
No, you have to look at the whole plan as rolled out. And corporate taxes as a percentage of GDP are a lot less now than they were in 1960, and we had good growth in the 60s. Anybody proposing anything in taxes always says the economy is going to boom, and maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. There are a lot of variables going into how the economy performs.